Well, hello there, good people. Hi, I'm Jason with Green Country Agroforestry, and we're back again for part two of our midsummer garden tour. Let's get my bird feeders refilled. We just had a couple of wild doves, I believe they're Mexican doves, take off from this tree, and they headed off somewhere over there just before I brought the camera out. So unfortunately, you didn't get to see them. Sorry, but it's an exciting time of year. I had to break this up into two separate parts because there's just so much stuff to show you, and I already have a lot of the film in the can. But I've got one project right there behind you that I really wanted to get to today. So let's go ahead and shift the camera view over there to the front porch, and I'll show you what we're up to. Last week I showed you this bottle gourd, which is currently making its way across the ironwork of the porch. And I showed you the ground view, but here you can see up over to my left the rest of the plant. And it's grown up and it's starting to put on some flowers. I see some male flowers, some little female flowers forming here. Hopefully they're getting fertilized and we'll have some gourds from it soon. Oh, there's a cardinal of the bird feeder that I just filled behind you. But it's running out of room. So what we're going to do today is prepare a spot for this vine to grow across. And to do that, I've got, where is it? To do that, I've got some speaker wire. It could be anything, but I just happen to have this. So I'm going to tie it off over here, loop it through this hook here, and attach it over there to the other piece of ironwork, and that should help provide a space for this vine to grow, and we'll have a nice green space covering the steps. Let's get to it. Right here at the top where that vine is, I'm going to just take a piece of the wire and hook it on right here. I'll just tie it with a simple knot. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. That one simple knot should hold it. Alright, and we'll stretch it from this point across here where our hook is. I'm going to sort of loop it at this point. Bring the spool down. There we go. That'll help hold it. Alright. Let's bring the other end. The other end right over here. Here. Right, now I got a little excess. Fortunately, while I was at the hardware store the other day, I got a pair of diagonal cutters. They're nice and sharp. And now I can just take this wire, pull it taut, and put another knot in there. There you go. And that should hold it really well. Alright, now all I've got to do is take this vine and train it to want to grow along this wire, like so. Grab on and grow. I'll come across the top here. Already I've got some flowers starting to form here, forming there. So we'll have some gourds maybe hanging from this wire soon enough. Hopefully it's going to stay. Of course, over here we've got more of the canna lilies, some millet sorghum here and here. I've got another one over there I can show you that's a lot more further along. Down here, this is our turmeric. Or can I plant that turmeric root? We have that growing up here, doing really well, coming along. I imagine it's forming some good roots down below. This one's a volunteer millet sorghum right here on the side of the driveway. You can see the seeds starting to form already. That's all going to be millet grain coming from this specialized grass. It looks an awful lot like Johnson grass or even corn whenever it's first growing as a typical monocot grass, but you can see the seeds that it produces are much more prolific than a Johnson grass or Sudan grass seed. This particular type of sorghum, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's just what came in the bird seed. If I was going to be deliberately growing a sorghum, I would probably pick a sorghum bicolor. That way I would have the option of being able to either use it for grain or cut it for sugar, which is one of the other uses for sorghum. But that's just a volunteer. Of course, nestled in between these two hazelnut trees here, we have some of the asparagus that we planted earlier this year. It's doing very well. I've got to say, it's not looking bad at all. We planted it, and it's burning out. It's got more shoots coming up all the time. Within a very short time, a year or two or so, this stuff is going to be ready to start harvesting from. And I'm not a big fan of asparagus. I don't mind it. I eat it every now and then. But Mary loves asparagus, so she's going to be really jazzed at having her own steady supply of asparagus for the rest of her life from her own yard. There we have another type of bee balm. It is also Monarda. Just like the other bee balm that you saw that had the pink flowers, this one is an excellent source of thymol. So if you're looking for a medicinal plant that can help stop infections, this is it. Thymol is one of the 4 ingredients found in the popular over-the-counter antiseptic wash called Listerine. Thymol, along with methyl salicylate and eucalyptol and menthol. And whenever we get our eucalyptus tree sometime next year, we'll have all 4 of those herbal oils available growing here in our garden. All right, now next to our bee balm here, with all of its thymol, I have a couple of black oiled sunflowers. I started these from bird seed as well. I thought it would be nice to have at least a couple that I was growing deliberately. I've got some volunteers that, of course, have popped up from the birds knocking the seeds out of the bird feeders, but these ones I wanted to grow intentionally. So they're here, and in front of them, all over the ground here, is a wonderful ground cover plant, which also is an edible for salad greens. Nice, tasty leaves, but it's not just for the salad greens that we're growing this particular plant, because this plant is a Beauregard sweet potato. It's a binding plant, so it takes up the binding layer in your permaculture setting. These very long vines will grow out, they'll set up additional roots, form additional tubers. If you don't want them to bind that much, it's fine. You can keep them concentrated in an area about 3 foot square and build little trellises for them to climb. Keep the vines pruned off and allow the tubers to form underground. Those tubers, of course, sweet potatoes are a great storage food, high in vitamins, and I love them. What's this over here? Climb up here. Well, this is year number 2. Year number 2 for this little beauty. This is a nitrogen fixing plant, a flowering in the early spring and producing fruit in the late summer plant. So this is not only a nitrogen fixer, but it's a pretty little flowering plant in the spring and a producer of fruit in the form of little tiny berries about the size of my pinky. This is a Eleagnus multiflora, or cherry silverberry. And it's 2 years old, not quite old enough to be producing fruit just yet, but it's growing pretty good. I think either this year or probably next year I'll start taking some cuttings from this one and we'll propagate more of these. At about 4 or 5 years old, this Bartlett tree has got its limbs just hanging down, heavy laden with fruit. To get them a little bit unentangled if I can. There we go. So on just this one branch coming out, I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10. Got 10 pairs here, and I want to monitor the situation. If these pairs get too much bigger, they'll weigh the branches down too much, and it may cause the branch to break. I would rather have the branches get weighed down and be trained to be down where I can pick the fruit. Obviously, they're within easy reach here, and not have my branches break. One of the things I want to do about this time of year is come by and pick off some of the other fruits that are here particularly the smaller ones. And just, I'm going to reduce the amount of fruit that I have on this branch by about 50%. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 will be enough, don't you? There we go. I'd rather have 5 fruits grow up and reach full maturity and not break my branches than have, I guess I've got 9 here, have 9 fruits that don't reach maturity and cause my branch to break. Let's have a look here in our air printing bed. This is a goji berry growing on the south side of the house. Himalayan lifeberry, it's also called. These are like little multivitamins growing all along these plants. They say a dozen of these matured can feed a man for a year. Now, I don't particularly like the flavor. It's kind of like eating a multivitamin. Now, even though, oh, hi, sorry. So even though this area is mostly dedicated to perennials, I do have a tomato growing in here. This is what is this one? Red brandywine, I believe it is. Red brandywine tomato. So we're getting those out of this area as well. Hey, well, good people, that's all I have for you today. I sure hope you found the video informative or entertaining. Maybe a little bit of both. Hey, who knows? In any case, I will catch you next time. It's a good half pound.